Okay, well now I'm going to take a look at exercise 19.1 on page 1172. And in this chapter, you guys are going to go through a few stock compensation exercises where some employees are awarded stock options, and some journal entries on how to handle those. And then we're also going to look at a couple of earnings per share calculations as well. So let's start with exercise 19.1. Allied Paper Products Incorporated offers a restricted stock award plan to its vice presidents. On January 1, 2016, the company granted 16 million of its $1 par common shares, subject to forfeiture if employment is terminated within 2 years. So the VPs only get these shares if they stay employed with Allied Paper Products, I guess in the position of VP, for the next 2 years. The common shares have a market price of $5 per share on the grant date. Okay, number one, determine the total compensation cost pertaining to the restricted shares. Well, to do that, you guys, on number one, it's really simple. We just need a fair value per share on the grant date. And that's January 1, 2016. And that's, looks like here, $5 per share. Number of shares granted, well, it's 16 million. And then we're just going to multiply those two together. Okay, so we get the fair value of the award is $80 million. Okay, number two, and we just did that by taking the fair value per share on the grant date. Now, the shares have not conferred to the vice presidents yet. They have to stay employed for 2 years. But we go by the fair value on the date they were originally granted, not the date that they are given to the employees. And then we'll multiply that by the number of shares granted to get the fair value of the award, $80 million. Sounds like a good job, doesn't it? Hope you have one like that one day. Hope you all have one like that one day. Very well could, you never know. A lot of vice presidents you'll find with accounting degrees, and that's where you guys are headed. Anyway, I've rambled enough. Let's look at number two. Prepare the appropriate journal entries related to the restricted stock through December 31, 2017. Okay, you guys, this $80 million is going to be compensation expense, just like pay to these vice presidents, right? Okay, so we're going to recognize it as it's earned by the vice presidents. So first, we're going to make an entry in 2016 on December 31. So 1 year in, they've now earned half of it. Now, they're not entitled to it yet, but we're going to go ahead and recognize half of the expense at the end of year one, in this case 2016. So we'll say compensation expense for half of the 80 million or 40 million. Okay, and at this point we're also going to credit, or we're going to credit paid in capital restricted stock. It's restricted because it's not going out to the employees, in this case vice presidents, until they have been in the employ of Allied Paper for a 2-year period. So far they're only 1 year in. So we'll credit it for $40 million as well, half of what they've earned by the end of 2016. Okay, now our next entry would be made in 2017 December 31. Same entry again. Now they've earned the next half of it, right? So I'm just going to copy and paste. No need to reinvent the wheel. But now we're at the end of the 2-year period. So the shares now go to, I'm sorry I was interrupted there, so I may repeat myself, but what happens now at the end of the 2-year period, the shares are going to confer to the VPs. Now this is assuming that they're all still in the employ of Allied Paper. But we're going to debit, what do you think? Well, the paid-in capital restricted stock now has to come off the books because it's no longer restricted, right? Went on the books as a credit, would come off the books as a debit. $80 million. Okay. We're going to put the common stock shares now on the books, right? Remember, they'll go on the books at par value. Well, the par value was $1 times the 16 million. I can even do that math in my head. That's going to be $16 million. Now the difference goes into paid-in capital in excess of par dash common stock. And that's going to be the difference. The $80 million fair value on the grant date minus the 16 million, that's I-12. Like we're playing bingo again. Nope, didn't work out. Equals the 80 million minus I-12. 64 million. Okay. Now that takes care of that one. Work that one with me. I don't think you'll have any trouble with the exercise 19.1 on Connect. Thanks a lot, you guys.